Many moons ago, a nameless evil was imprisoned in a place far beyond reach.
Hurry up!
If he were ever to be released, it would spell certain doom for all existence.
Is that fear I smell? Your planet will be torn to pieces, and I will
Mimi,
treat your endless screams as I rip.
Is this yours? Speak? Oh my god.
The gem of Paraxidike. Whoever wields it is able to command me.
Go over there and wait for us to come back in the morning.
You will suffer an eternity for this.
Mom, Dad, I want you to meet Psycho Gorman, or PG for short.
I will bathe in your blood.
Don't worry.
Be worried. Slow down!
He's gonna kill everybody.
Not unless I tell him to.
What did you three maniacs get up to?
This is getting a little weird.
This sick game must come to an end. She will enslave the galaxy into endless servitude. Kill him!
Cool.
The ultimate evil has awoken.
There's a new god in town, and his name? Psycho Gorman. It was nice meeting you.
It would be nicer if you were dead.
All right, bye.
All right, welcome to Where the Scary Things Are. I'm your host with the most, MonsterMash Ken. Thank you for joining us tonight. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check out our website, like us on YouTube. Make sure you check the follow button on YouTube. We like that. It's a new year. We're back with another great show. I'm very excited to get into it. With me is my co-host, the Mistress of Darkness, the Queen of Fright, the Lady of the Night, Muse. How you doing tonight, lady?
I'm good. Glad to be back with you guys. It's a new year. It's new beginnings, new adventures. I can't wait to see what's in store for all of us and everything else.
So as we did, we said our goodbye about a week ago, and we were all excited for 2 weeks ago, right, Chris? 2021. Has anything changed for you, Muse?
No, not really. I don't know. It's a little soon, but I mean, I kind of feel like everything's looking a little brighter, I think, at this point for a lot of us. And I think that a lot of us are ready to start over in a lot of ways. And yeah, so nothing's really changed. I'm staying optimistic. So, I think I'm about the same as I was last year at this time, hoping for a good year. So let's hope it goes better than last year.
Well, a man who does not look like any different from a year ago, Chris the Creature. How you doing?
Real wonderful. And I have official notice that I'm doing wonderful. On less than a week ago, I had my yearly physical, and you guys would not believe the great health that I'm in. I mean, I got my cholesterol back, and I went out and had like 15 eggs, waffles, whatever. I am just, unless I get hit by a meteorite, I should be around for another 2 or 3 years at least.
Well, that's good, because I heard, and maybe that the FBI and the CIA have to disclose anything they know about UFOs. So you might be okay.
Yeah, fat chance.
Yeah. We'll see what happens, right? Yeah. But a man who would probably make friends with an alien if they came in, Dexter, and HorrO, his partner. I feel like Dexter's taking over the Twitter world, man.
Yeah, that's the goal. I could use a break. That's fine with me. But yeah, we're in 2021 and we're excited. And I think anybody listened to the show last year, they know that when I get excited for a show and a movie that we're talking about, it's going to be good. And you're going to introduce the movie as the trailer just did. But I'm so excited to show this to horror fans, because this is a good film. Let's just put it this way. If this was 2020, it would have been in my top 10.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off that in 1 second. So, if you caught our beginning of our show, we played the trailer Psycho Gorman, which comes out in a couple weeks here. This directed by Steven Kostanski, who will be joining us later on tonight, as well as the star of the show, Nita Josie Hanna. She plays Mimi. This movie, from the second I turned it on, even with the crawl, like the opening crawl and the description, you always feel like a movie's going to be really good when you get like that crawl coming through and they explain what's going on. It's like, yes, this is going to be great. Oh man, I cannot wait to get into the minutia of this film. I loved every second of it. I was laughing. Nita, who plays Mimi, I feel like if this would have came out in December, she would have been my actress of the year, hands down. Like, no question. Hands down. So absolutely loved this film. I can't wait for you guys to watch it. I can't wait to get into our interview because I got so many great questions. So with that said, let's get right into our show. I'm going to jump right into the Fear of the Beer of the Week. I got a really cool one. I saved this from last year, which was only a couple weeks ago. But I did save it. It's Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Anchor Brewery. It's got like a nice Christmas tree on it. I don't know what kind of beer this is, but I am very excited to try it. So I'm going to pop that bad boy open. Cheers to you guys. May you guys have a great and happy, healthy New Year, except for Dexter. It's all right. it's got like a cinnamon flavor at the end. So that's Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Anchor Brewery. It's a good beer. I'm gonna skip what movies came out, and I'm gonna be honest. I just did not prepare because I'm starting the new year as a rebel. And I didn't prepare anything that came out last year, in the years past. So I'm going to throw it right on over to Muse, and we're going to get into the Sinister Six.
Okay, so I thought it would be, I'm like on this villain kick lately. I have been, and I'm still on it in the new year. So that has not changed. I know we have a lot of fun with villains, especially horror villains in particular. There are so many out there that we really love. I mean, they're bad guys, right? But we still love them. And maybe we're not supposed to, but we do. I think it's whatever you want. If you love them, you love them. If you don't, you don't. But I thought it would be fun to come up with 6 of my favorites from various horror movies in the genre. And I'm going to swing back around to the guys as well and get some of their favorite horror villains that they loved that maybe, you shouldn't have loved, but you did. I loved them because I loved them. They're awesome. So the first one is a pretty obvious one. And we've all seen a lot of these movies. It's Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton is just comedic perfection here. How can you not love Beetlejuice? Yeah, he's all about himself. And yeah, he's terrorizing poor Lydia, played by Winona Ryder. And he's terrorizing Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin's characters throughout the movie and causing all kinds of mayhem. But, we really, really kind of love him. He does it so well and he's hilarious. He's got so many there's great physical comedy here as well. There's great special effects. And I think a lot of us, I speak for a lot of us when I say that we love Beetlejuice. Maybe not everybody, but I know a lot of us do. And one of my absolute favorites. So he's number 1. And I'm a huge Michael Keaton fan anyway. So I had to go Beetlejuice there. Number 2, Gary Oldman as Dracula from Bram Stoker's Dracula, 1992. I really love this movie. And Gary Oldman, there's been so many different great renditions of Dracula over the years. And I'm a huge fan of Bela Lugosi as well. So I guess he would rate up here as well. But Gary Oldman, gosh, there was something so, I don't know. I think it was probably the truest to the novel as that rendition of Dracula, probably the most true. And there have been so many great ones. I was reading a review and somebody said that Bela Lugosi had the charm down. I think Christopher Lee, they said, had the presence, and Gary Oldman had the heart, though. So I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, but I think they all had the heart and they were all great. But Gary Oldman is definitely my second pick as Vlad / Dracula from Bram Stoker's Dracula. Number 3 is Pennywise from 1990's It. Tim Curry, another great performance. Whatever you may think about this made-for-TV movie, it was my favorite. I watched the remake, and I love the 1990 version a bit better. Maybe it's because I saw it first, but I really think the reason why is Tim Curry as Pennywise. And no offense to Bill Skarsgård, who did a great job as Pennywise in the remake, but I don't know, man. Tim Curry just that's a really tough act to follow. He was great as Pennywise, and maybe you weren't supposed to like him because, like, you know, he's terrorizing children and doing all these horrible things, and he's eating them and all this kind of stuff. But he was so epic. I don't know how you couldn't like him throughout this movie. And Tim Curry is just gold all the way around, anyways. Number 4 is kind of a tie for number 4. I had David from The Lost Boys, who I think is just like so cool. I mean, I don't know how you couldn't like him. It was such a great movie. I mean, we all wanted to be vampires after seeing The Lost Boys, most of us. And I also tied for 4th place is Severn, played by Bill Paxton from Near Dark. These guys were total villains the whole movie. At no point were they redeemable, but they were epic. They were great. And I really loved them both. And I found myself rooting for both of them, whether or not they were going to, you know, they definitely weren't the heroes of the movie, but I still love them all the same. I absolutely love them. Number 5 is going to be one that I know Ken nods along with. The Predator from Predator. I mean, how could you not like the Predator? Yeah, he's hunting human beings, but it doesn't matter because he looks damn cool doing it. And he's just like the ultimate hunter. And I mean, you know, who doesn't want to see a predator slaughtering everybody and putting skulls as trophies on his mantle and all this kind of stuff? I mean, the design of the creature was awesome, and I absolutely loved the Predator in Predator. So it's definitely up there for me. And the 6th one was hard, but I went with Mark Duplass as Joseph / Aaron from Creep 1 and 2. He played 2 different characters. Of course, we know the stories. If you have not seen it, I'm not going to root it for you, but his performance is just, wow. He blows you away. It's a 2-man show. We had Patrick Bryce on, the director of Creep, early on in our shows, the genesis of the show. And he was a fantastic interview. Go back and listen to that one if you missed it. But Mark Duplass as Joseph and Aaron from Creep was just, I loved him. He was totally demented, out of his mind, scared the shit out of you. And the ending is epic. So if you've not seen Creep 1 and 2, I would definitely go back and watch those. But he was definitely one of my favorite villains and somebody who I really loved that. I know I was probably not supposed to be cheering for, but I was. And I don't know what that says about me, but I loved it. So that's my list. I had some honorable mentions, Radu from Subspecies and the puppets from Puppet Master. Were my other honorable mentions. So I'm going to swing around to Ken first, and I'm going to ask him who some of his favorite horror movie villains were that maybe he shouldn't have rooted for, but he did.
Obviously, it's got to be Frankenstein. You know,
Yeah.
It's got to be number 1, and I'll save the other one for Chris. But I think that's one. You know, you go back to the movie, the original, The Craft. You know, with all the witches, you start to like them, and you kind of get why they are. Then what was her name? Nancy. Nancy was the main witch, I think, right? I can't remember, but you know, she went a little bonkers, and I can't think of any other ones. But yeah, I think that's it. Frankenstein is the big one that just right when you said that, you the creature. You know. So speaking of the creature, I'll just pass it on over to Chris if you don't mind.
Speaking of the creature, have to go with the creature.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, that one's a little too easy. Couple others I'd like to mention, and one is it's really a horror movie, more of a science fiction. Ricardo Montalban in Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan.
Yes. Oh, so good.
Yeah, I mean, he might be the best thing of all the Star Trek movies, and that's not criticizing
Yeah.
Star Trek movies. And he is really good.
Yes, he is, absolutely.
And how about Natasha Henstridge in Species?
Yes. Great pick. Yes.
Nice. Yeah.
So, this is almost too easy. I don't know if it's because of the personality of this quartet right here, but I think we glob on to the people that have the power to murder millions and with this.
Right. Yeah.
I'll let Omar finish it out.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, there's the obvious names. You know, I'm a big Freddy person, so Freddy, love Freddy. And Jigsaw's another one. I love my man Jigsaw. And here's one that I also love from Down Under is Mick from Wolf Creek.
Yes.
God, such a great bad guy. Love that. Love the show. Love the movies. Everything that Mick does is just awesome. And I was trying to think of something newer. There's a new film that I saw last year, and I believe it's coming out soon, called Hunted. the bad guy in this movie, is very unsuspecting, but he was one bad dude. I completely forgot to add him to my list of performances from last year. You guys will be able to see this movie soon. He does such a great job as the bad guy in this movie. I can't wait till everybody gets to see this. It'll be out soon. So that's I like to throw in a new movie there. So that's a new one.
Oh, I mean, yeah, Mick from Wolf Creek. I can't believe I didn't think of that. You automatically. I mean, that's why I love going around and getting your guys' replies, because I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Because there's only 6, and this way, we get to add more because it's just six spots is not enough for best horror movie villains and some of our favorites that we actually secretly love, or maybe not so secretly. I mean, I don't make it a secret. I don't think any of us do. But yeah, great choices, guys. I had a lot of fun with this one, and I will pass it back to Ken.
Yeah, it's like you connect with the character, and Freddy Krueger obviously is.
Yeah.
I thought about it, and I was like, but there's sometimes where you just want him to die. But then he's really cool. So I didn't want to say it, but like, I don't know. Like, you feel sorry. You go all the way back to like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and you just feel sorry for this character, and he's like a creature, he's a monster or whatever. But really, really good list there, especially pertaining to the feature movie that we're talking about tonight. Anyway. Let's get into the Promote Horror 666 rundown with HorrO and Dexter.
Yes, so Dexter's sitting quiet over here, and so I'm going to take the lead on this one. I don't want to start the year off on a sour note here, so I'm not going to jump into a remake here and start trashing and so forth. We'll save that for another day. There's going to be plenty of talk about that coming up in the coming months. Instead, I'm going to take advantage of this and kind of look ahead. Look ahead to some of the movies that are going to come out in 2021 here. And if we just did our awards show, and we've talked about it for the last couple of weeks, all the great movies that's happened in 2020. And, we kind of forget that there was going to be a hell of a lot more movies to come. There was a lot of big blockbuster movies that were set to come out. And they didn't. They got pushed back when we went into quarantine and so forth. So can you imagine if we added those on top of the already great movies that we had already discussed? So what I'm going to do now is kind of run through some names to kind of look forward to, maybe some names that you haven't heard of, and obviously some that you have, and kind of get your guys' feedback and see what you guys are looking forward to. Coming in 2021. Hopefully these movies do come out. There's no more BS, no more pushback, and we do get to see these. And this is not a complete list. There are other movies that I did not put on here, but these are some that I think you guys recognize, and then maybe a few that you want. And I'm going to starting off with the movie that we're talking about tonight, Psycho Gorman. We'll get into that more later. Don't miss that one. Otherwise, from that, The Reckoning. This comes from Neil Marshall. This debuted late last year at a couple of festivals, so only a certain select crowd has seen it. Unfortunately, I did not get to see it. I've heard mixed things about this one, but I know that this one is going to be very one of the first ones that's going to be pushed a lot. And this one will be out on February 5th. Mind you, I'm going to give you dates, and I don't know if these are going to be DVDs, theater releases. It'll be a mix. We'll just see how things go. Come True. This is a mix of a horror/sci-fi movie, and this will be out on March 12th. This is also another one that played at film festivals, and if you had seen a lot of people's best of lists, you may have seen this name listed on a few of them. I caught it a few times. This is another one that I unfortunately missed, but I've heard some good things about it, and obviously if it's on some of those best lists, there are a group of people out there who really like this one. As for a name that you will recognize, A Quiet Place 2. This is the movie that I was probably most looking forward to last year that never happened. And it was one of the first movies that kind of got shut down because of quarantine. It almost made it was due to come out, I believe, last March, and we just missed it. We just got thrown in the slammer before it got released. And, credit to them to actually taking their movie off the list there and not forcing people to go see it in an environment that we weren't sure of. But that will be out on April 23rd, and I'm very, very much looking forward to that one. Here's one that I'll be interested to see if Chris goes and sees or takes a look at, and that is Godzilla versus Kong. This is his type of movie. We got all kinds of craziness going on here. I don't know if you've looked at the trailer, it might not be that exciting, but we'll see. We'll have to reserve judgment on that, and they just want to continue on with the Godzilla and the Kong thing, and we'll see who is the master of the universe of that one when that one comes out, and that one will be out on May 21st. Another one, interesting enough, coming out on May 21st, which will catch my attention. I don't know about this Kong and Godzilla, but it's Spiral. Spiral, as in what they're calling, I guess, a remake or a new chapter. I don't know what the big difference is of Saw. I mentioned Jigsaw a few minutes ago, so this is another chapter of Saw, and I guess Samuel L. Jackson is going to be starring in it, and Darren Lynn Bousman is directing it. I trust in him and what he's done over his career, and I've liked a lot of his movies, but I'm just not sold that we need this movie. I don't know. I guess it'll end. This is one of those ones I know we'll talk about when it comes out, and I'll probably do a remake blast or not on this. But this is probably going to be one of those ones that, we're going to watch it, and then that's going to make us really determine, was this needed or not. I'm sure they're hoping that it does well so they can make another 2, 3, 4, 15 sequels, but we'll have to see. Speaking of multiple sequels, we have The Conjuring Part 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. Love the title, and I know a lot of people are excited about this one. The Conjuring movies have been much talked about and really well done movies. So we'll see if they strike gold one more time and can try to continue this universe that they've created with The Conjuring and so forth. Vera and Patrick will be back in this one, and we'll see what they come up with. See if they can scare us one more time. Here's a remake that I'm not so sure that we're all excited about, but this one will be out on June 11th. That's Ghostbusters Afterlife. I know a lot of people are excited about this one because they're bringing back some of the old cast, but remember, they're probably just going to have minor roles in this movie. There is a new cast here. The other epic fail of a remake, the female version, which we'll maybe get into it another time, didn't do so well. So this one will probably do better, but will people like it? That'll be much debated on. Here's one for Muse. We're both fans of The Purge, and Forever Purge will be out on July 9th. And this is supposedly the last Purge movie we're getting. We'll see if that really happens. Maybe there'll be a remake another time. Maybe they'll decide to do another movie, TV series. I don't know. I feel like there's so much more that they could do. But let's see what happens here. And I don't even know how you're supposed to end The Purge once this gets going, but we'll see. Here's a little bit of a shocker one that I didn't expect, but kind of happened, and I guess they've already filmed, so it is expected to be released next year on August 13th, and that's Don't Breathe Part 2. Stephen Lang comes back, and if you've seen the first one, this is a very good movie. One of those ones that kind of came out of nowhere, kind of hit us with the trailer. Everybody kind of got interested, but once you went to the theater, you were blown away by it. So we'll see what they come up with the second time. This one to me is maybe a hard one to do a second time, but you never know. Let's see what they do with the story here. We'll give them a chance. Another one that I'm not sure we need it, but here we go again, is Candyman. I guess they're calling it a long-winded sequel here. So I guess we're getting a sequel many years after the fact. I don't know. Still, the mystery is what Tony Todd's role in this. I don't think he's going to be Candyman, but supposedly he has a role in this movie. So we'll see what he's up to. And we'll see what they have in store for Candyman, because this one was much talked about before it got delayed. For Ken, and Ken is going to give us full reporting on this movie, and that's going to be Dune, which was pushed back to October 1st. Ken's a big fan of this one. This is not really my wheelhouse.
Can't wait.
So this is not in my wheelhouse. Obviously, this is in his. So when this comes around, we'll all turn to him and see what he thinks of the job they did there. Hopefully, they can make this as epic as the first one was. Sneak one in here. Addams Family, the animation version, will have a sequel that'll be on October 8th. Just kind of squeezing that in there. And then we have to wait probably the longest for probably the most anticipated, or one of the most anticipated ones, and the most obvious ones, and the ones that probably kill the most horror fans to have to wait for, and that's Halloween Kills. It looks like the only thing that could stop Michael Myers was quarantine and the virus, and he got put on the shelf. He wears a mask all the time, so maybe he didn't get coronavirus, so maybe that's good for him. And but October 15th is the big date, and hopefully we're still all alive and we're vaccinated or not, and we can go and watch that. That is one that I'm really going to be, I still doubt for myself I'm going to be in theaters, but that is really one that I would really want to see in theaters. So I'm going to find out a way to see it when we're there. We'll see how they release that. But that is a big one, and I will definitely be looking forward to that one. So I guess I'm going to throw it to you guys just real quick. If there's any of those movies out there you're looking forward to, or maybe one that I didn't say that you guys know of that you're looking forward to.
I'm definitely Forever Purge. Oh yeah, I'm ready for it. I hope it's not the last one. I'll take 20 more. I don't know. I love these movies. I'm a glutton for these movies. Halloween Kills, obviously, and definitely Don't Breathe 2. I was a huge fan of the first one, and Stephen Lang is the man. So those three really jumped out at me for sure.
Did you say? I'm sorry if I missed it. You said Saint Maud, right?
I did not.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
I'm testing you.
Son of a bitch!
Testing you. I'm
well,
testing you.
I thought I missed it because you mentioned it was supposed to come out in March, last year, and I had bought tickets. I was going to do a live show from the theater in Times Square, and they had The Exorcist back in theater. I had it was a weekend event. It was The Exorcist, Rosemary's Baby, and then on the last night it was going to be Saint Maud. And I was so excited. I can't wait to see this movie. I know a couple people have seen it already. And so I was going to do a live show with you guys via Zoom, and I would be in Times Square living it up. And then the world shut down that week, man. I was so pissed. But Saint Maud is by far the movie I want to see the most next year. And that even beats out some of the superhero movies coming out. Dune is up there. I think Dune looks really good. But Saint Maud looks killer. What about you, Chris?
Just let me jump in real quick. One of the reasons why I didn't mention Saint Maud is because it's not really listed down. I have to do a little research to find when that one's coming out, because it's technically listed as it already released, because some places did show it. So certain audiences did get to show it. But
they had it in Europe.
Yeah, they did have it in Europe, and it played especially at some film festivals. So I had that one in mind when I was going through the list, but it never kind of showed itself. So I was like, okay, well, I'll leave that one aside for now. But I know you were looking forward to that. Was another one that I was really looking forward to. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I heard it's good.
I don't have much. I have a bunch that I didn't hear, and they might not even be movies coming out. Once I start grabbing onto and enjoying something, they go away, never to come back. Unlike Twilight, which just keeps coming out. But I did not hear anything for Underworld. Did not hear anything for Resident Evil. Did not hear anything for, and I just saw Crank 2 for a second time on Tubi TV. I would love a third Crank movie with Jason Statham. Oh, if the world right now is not calling out for another Crank movie, I don't know. And then, anything with Jason Statham, but he hasn't really done anything too good lately. Although one you mentioned earlier, 2 months ago, is a movie I really, really liked with Jason Statham, the Meg. And I think you let us know that a sequel perhaps is in the works.
Yeah, it is in the works, but I didn't see anything where it's coming next year. So, they will certainly be doing a sequel, and I will also be seeing that one, because I enjoyed the Meg Part 1 enough to want a sequel.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Well, I did have a question for Chris. Speaking of not just movies coming out, but shows, Clarice is coming out this season. Or is that something you're going to watch? And this is a spinoff of Silence of the Lambs. Yeah. Will you be watching that? Because I know you were the main star in Silence of the Lambs.
I was in Silence of the Lambs. I remember when Tony and Jody and I were knocking down a few cold ones at the local watering hole up there at Quantico Marine side. And I tell you, she said, just wait, give it about 30 years. They're going to make a TV show about Clarice. But no, I tend to avoid TV shows. I'm a movie guy. And no disrespect to the show, to the people involved in them. But I'm just a movie guy, and I'll probably avoid it. One thing that a TV show can do over 6 episodes, 8 episodes, 2 seasons, 5 seasons is do something that will offend your sensibilities at least once, and that's all you need. And where a movie, they don't really have time to do that. The problem I have with TV shows, one little mistake and I'm off of it. So I usually just do movies, and they have a lot of TV shows about my FBI career. Perhaps you've seen Great Unsolved Mysteries before. No, just kidding. It's over people's head. No, so it's like my wife is a pianist, and you bring home a CD of piano concertos, and she can't watch it. It's like her work. And people say, "Did you see Criminal Minds?" And I said, "No, no, I didn't," because it's kind of like work. And so I probably, unless there's a compelling reason, am not going to be tuning into Clarice. And that's no disrespect to the people making it or to the subject matter.
Real quick, I just want to shout out to the chat room. We got John Grant, as always. Thank you, John. Becky, Luna Redcoat, Mike. Muse is in there farting around.
Always.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks everybody for being part of the show. Please, if you have any questions, just shoot it on over in the chat and we'll answer it. They're talking about Bates Motel and
Epic show. Yes.
All right, HorrO, sorry to take away your time. Go for it.
That is all good. I guess I will be the sacrificial lamb, and I'll watch Clarice, because they're actually going to put that on CBS and not CBS All Access. So I think they're going to put it on both. So at least people that are cheap like me, we can watch it on regular CBS. Because really, of all the networks, CBS I watch the least of, besides for football. But anyway, I guess we'll jump into the news, and I guess I'm going to go right to something else and appease Chris, because you mentioned there was something I didn't mention, and I was kind of saving it for the news because it was in the news. But I'll mention it, right now off the top. And that's they wrapped on the new Resident Evil movie. The reason why I didn't name it and before was because they haven't put a release date for that yet. So they are expecting 2021, but we'll see. But the news is they've wrapped. So that's filmed and set in the bank. So you have something to look forward to. It is a reboot. We talk about how great that is. But that film is wrapped, and we'll have at least a trailer and a release date and so forth to look forward to. So that's one piece of news. A piece of news that I'm excited about, which broke a couple hours ago today, is that Clancy Brown is going to be the villain in the new Dexter season that's coming up. I couldn't be more happier for that. I'm so excited Dexter's coming back, and to have Clancy Brown as the villain in this should make this epic. And if this is just like one more season to kind of conclude Dexter in the way which some people want it, hopefully they will do it right. Clancy Brown, I know they had several good actors do some of the villains throughout the entire series, and I see no reason why he shouldn't be up there with everybody else that they brought along. So I'm excited about that.
I love Clancy Brown. I'm sorry, I had to say it. I couldn't. It was compulsive. I was like, before he goes on to something else, I love him. I am all over that. Sorry, go ahead.
That is okay. I knew you would be.
Yes.
But And again, anybody has not seen Mortuary Collection, check out him out in that movie. Um, two sentence horror stories will be back for a second season. That is on CW. It's basically a bunch of short films, but very interestingly enough, basically based on what two sentences are. I caught a little bit of season one. Unfortunately, I didn't continue, but it is something that I would go back and watch because what I did see was pretty interesting. And not every single one, but it's an episode thing, and each new episode is new. So you like some, you don't like others. But that'll be starting actually next week on January 12th. So that kind of it's coming right at you. And then something that maybe Ken will take part of is a special virtual viewing of The Evil Dead, and this is coming on January 23rd. And the big thing here is that Bruce Campbell is actually going to provide commentary while this goes on, and it's going to be live commentary. So if you're an Evil Dead fan, this is a big thing for you and something to do. Everybody likes these watch parties and so forth now. So I guess they're putting this on. There is a charge for this. I believe it said $25 for video on demand of this. And I think there's also a VIP package. So, I don't know if you want to pay for it or not. But if you're a big fan of Evil Dead, big fan of Bruce Campbell, and just looking for something different and new, there it is. And one of the movies that we loved and we talked about in our awards show is Host. And I guess they've announced that the DVD Blu-ray, you can now own it as of February 2nd. So I know, and then that's supposedly going to have a bunch of extras and so forth in that DVD. So that is something to look forward to. Obviously, I think, as we discussed last time, one of our favorite movies and favorite guests, Gemma Moore, when she came on from last year. And with that, I will end with some recommendations. I know I gave this before, but towards the end of the year, I know people are busy, and I want to make sure that if anybody missed this movie, they don't now. And it's a movie called Hunter x Hunter, and came out in December. And it has one of the best endings in a horror movie of last year, and maybe going through the book, so give or take, but definitely one of the best endings. The movie's good overall, good acting, everything, but fantastic ending to this movie. It was out in theaters. I believe you can find it on demand and so forth now. One that's on Shudder now is Super Dark Times. I did believe this came out a couple of years ago. I saw it at a festival, but a very good movie, and it does become very dark. And one that is going to be on Shudder, and which I previously mentioned, is Hunted. This was a festival film that I saw months ago, and will be landing on Shudder, I believe, in the coming week. When it does, please check it out. Another very good movie. So those are a couple of recommendations, including the movie that we are going to talk about now, and Chris will be reviewing shortly.
Great job, as always. Yeah, lots of news. It's the beginning of the year. Last year we were treated with so many great films. I hope, like you said in the beginning of your segment, that these films do get released. I do want to see some of these in the theaters. There's nothing like watching a horror movie in the theater and it's dark, unless you got boneheads eating popcorn or chips or some crap behind you. Yeah, exactly. Dexter's that guy. He's probably like talking to the movie, texting during the movie, or doing a Instagram post and whatever you want to call it. What is that one? What's the one where they dance? Like those
TikTok.
People do the stupid
TikTok.
Yeah, Dexter's definitely TikToker. TikTok Dexter. Anyway, I'm really excited to hear Chris's review of Psycho Gorman. So go ahead and take it away with the creature feature of the week. And if there has never been a creature feature of the week more fitting, this is the one. This is your one right here, Chris.
Hey, yeah, a couple of brief notes before I get underway. We are in 2021, and if you remember the movie Mad Max, it takes place in 2021. So it's 2020 wasn't nearly as bad of a year as you might think it was, because we're not running around with BDSM and hockey mask costumes.
Well, you don't live in New York, so it's like a daily thing here.
That's always been New York. Yeah, but it's interesting you mentioned that because on the surface of this film, you come away from it, first thing you say to yourself is creature effects. there are a million of them. They're not a million of them, but there are at least hundreds of them. Imaginative, very well done creature effects. And you say to yourself, this is the highlight of the movie, creature effects, creature effects, creature effects. And then you start thinking about it. Well, that wasn't really the highlight of the movie. The highlight of the movie were these two kids. And we're going to talk to one in just a couple of minutes from now. But the Mimi and Luke. And maybe a lot about Mimi and Luke you might recognize in your relationship with your sibling. Did you ever, with a sibling, create a stupid game that only the two of you knew the rules of? Apparently, you weren't the only ones. And so a deeper reflection of this movie, you see a brother-sister relationship in creature effects. Which one did he put over the other? And what I thought was the fascinating part of this movie, and I can't wait to ask Steve, the director, who's also going to be with us in a couple minutes, is who were the protagonists here? There was a very, and I haven't even got into the plot yet. I'm going to get into a little bit of the plot in a moment, but there was a very deep conversation between the dad and I think Mimi. Are there monsters out there? The monster's going to get me. And he says, no such thing as monsters. Men, real people are the monsters. And that is another very deep theme of this movie. And it's easy to brush by them, although there they are. And when we get to the end of the movie, there'll be these questions will pop into your head. But let's not spoil the movie. It is a fun movie. It's a hilarious movie. The creature effects come at you all over the place. There are even plot twists that, they just get thrown in. They really don't have anything to do with the main plot, but there's a creature here. We got to throw it in. And so we'll talk about that too. But this movie, as it begins, you're through narration are told of a great war or battle somewhere in the universe, and planet Gigox has just undergone it. And there's a warrior on Gigox, and I tell you his name, but when they asked him his name later in the movie, this was hilarious. They didn't even give him a chance to finish. He had this whole spiel ready to go. My name is, and the kids already lost interest, and they moved on. But he's been created to go and destroy everything that's good. Whoever's good, just destroy it. And you'll see that. You'll see scenes of him destroying everything that's good, everything that's wholesome, everything that's whatever. That's just his job in life. And what apparently happens is there's a great upheaval, great war. A force comes down and chases him away. They later admit they should have killed him, but he is jettisoned off the planet. He survives and apparently crash lands on Earth. And guess who finds him? Our two, we'll call them protagonists, little kids, brother, sister, Luke and Mimi. Who are, and again, I want to say they're the highlight of this movie. And then I think of the creature guy, Psycho Gorman, and so, well, he's the highlight of the movie. And I think of the creatures. And so it's interesting which one you're going to pick. So they're playing this stupid, idiotic game, appropriately called Crazy Ball. And they'll tell you the rules. You won't get them. It's a lot like, they're even more complicated than these role-playing games, Dungeons and Dragons and Coop and all that stuff they have now. And so by accident, the ball gets lost in the woods and they end up digging a hole, don't ask why, and they find a glowing rock or a glowing medallion or a glowing amulet. Not knowing what it is, the Mimi takes it. Well, what it is a stone that's placed on to this force of evil, this no-name guy who will soon be known as Psycho Gorman, and now he's loose. He's been dug up. He goes, he shreds a criminal wino gang somewhere, and by accident, Mimi ends up with his amulet, which is a good thing because whoever has the amulet, and Mimi doesn't know this yet, controls him. This creature who's like 7 feet tall, just this ugly thing, and you'll see him do all sorts of stuff that you won't believe. But he's a very noble character, at least on the side of the evil. And Mimi ends up able to control him. And so she's a little kid. And I don't know how old, 10 maybe? I don't know, we'll have to ask, but maybe 10 years old, 11 years old. And she and her brother, by accident, stumble upon him and stumble upon the realization that this amulet can control him. And so he tries everything he can to get it back, but Mimi's not going to have any of it. And she is just thrilled because she's really got a new pet. And it's interesting. And so, and you can tell in her face, she doesn't quite know herself what she's going to do with it. Which is why I again pose the question, are Mimi and Luke the protagonists or the antagonists? And this guy, this thing, they name him Psycho Gorman. And the interchange on how they came up with that name is just classic. There are a couple of other names before they considered, which were just hilarious. But Psycho Gorman, or PG, and his actions are not PG, but PG is his little nickname. And now they control him, and he's scheming on a way to get the amulet back and kill them, kill everybody, and he does. He kills these people, and the kids think it's neat, and it's kind of neat. Now, most of the people he's killing are people that needed killing. So we don't really feel bad about it, and then the kids don't feel bad about it, and the kids are just blown away by the awesomeness of Mr. Evil here, Psycho Gorman, and he has magical powers. He can shoot things with his fingers. He can shred things. He's impervious to bullets, and they decided to take him out on a jaunt. I don't want to mention Alistair too much because Alistair, their friend who they let in on a secret, becomes a plot device, which I think is just precious and heartbreaking at the same time. And maybe we'll talk about that a little bit in a couple of minutes from now. So now they've got a problem. They got Psycho Gorman. They got not really knowing what to do with it. They're in the comic books. They want to bring him to school, and they say, can't bring him to school. He'll kill everybody at school. And Mimi says, not unless I tell him to. And she's not saying that like, no, he won't. It's like, I haven't decided yet if I want him to kill everybody in the school. You think it's a distinct possibility. And when you get to know Mimi, you realize it is. Mimi does not come across as pure as the driven snow. Mimi comes across as somebody who could either be a great woman in human history, or she could be the next great serial killer. And you can tell at age 10 or whatever, that direction has not been enunciated in her career path yet. She could go either way. And maybe that's part of the mystery of what will happen at the end of the movie. Won't tell you one way or another, but which way will Mimi go? Will she be a force for good, or will she be a force for evil? And that's kind of one of the plot devices in this movie that this movie is all about. Now, you got to give Steve, and I'm going to enunciate his last name.
Kostansky.
Steve Kostansky, but Steve. He does a very refreshing thing with these kids, Luke and Mimi. We look at kids. They play video games. They watch TV. Nobody ever goes outside and plays anymore. And these kids are a throwback. These kids are a throwback to, I don't know, age maybe in the 70s or the 60s or the 50s, when you used to go outside and play your brains out, and you come in well after the sun goes down with, dirt underneath your fingernails and stuff. But these kids I mean, their imaginations are being stoked, and great imagination can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. And Psycho Goreman as a weapon for Mimi or a plaything for Mimi and Luke, we're wondering how that's going to go, because Mimi's heart is still being molded. Is she going to be a force for good? Is she going to be even worse than Psycho Goreman? And you can see even Psycho Goreman, as the movie goes on, this force of ultimate evil. He's wondering too. And you almost get a sense that he's kind of scared of her too. Not just because she has the amulet. You figure one way or another, Psycho Goreman, who's been around for trillions of years, can get that amulet back one way or another. I don't think that's what's worrying him. I think what's really, really worrying him is he's looking at this kid and he's thinking, I can't scare her. There's nothing I can do. And so how that is going to end up is going to be a fascinating ending. And you'll see it. It's no mysteries at the end. It'll be a very nice, loud ending. And like I said, I don't want to talk too much about the second half of the plot, because this movie will come out in about 1 to 2 weeks from now. And so we're going to talk to Mimi or Nita and Steve in just a moment, and we can ask them more questions. Maybe they'll give us the spoilers.
All right, everybody, sit tight. We'll be right back and with our guest.